themselves into on this Madness Monday. You already know we at work decided to hop on, chop it up with an individual, see what's the talk of the town. Is going down the word on the curve. You heard me. Excuse me. Here in Southern California, we're having another rainy day. It's a wet one. Another wet day. Not as bad as the other days, but we have been getting the rain though. It's actually pretty cold out there. So it's gonna be another. This supposedly we're supposed to have a thunderstorm, and I don't know what the fuck. What's cracking like a little Rich? What's good, my boy? How's everything? How's your day going? How's the weather over there? The homie Deshpo's definitely up in the house. What's cracking, my boy? How's your day going? Ours is a wet one over here. Now, for those who are curious, I did drop a new video on this channel. If you guys want to scope that out, you can scope that out. We had freezing last Monday. I get you, bro. Damn, a frozen warning? Man, that's just crazy. That's real cold. What's cracking like in Lucky Loco definitely up in the building? Go subscribe to Lucky Loco's channel. It's all good. It's cold. Yeah, I feel you. All right. Yeah, we get those over here too. It's like 43 in the night. So it'll be chilly. That's right, on break at work. Hey, at least we working though. A winter wonderland? Now, I was sent and asked if I'm gonna do a video regarding 1090 Jake talking about Rascal, the homie hangout. But nah, because that individual's a goofball anyways. No one cares about what Steak has to say. We're on Chemo Flix and it wasn't good? Well, that's fine, my boy. It's all to the gravy. Nothing that happens on the internet will ever rattle me. Yeah, I was doing homework and I was eating my dinner. Procrastinating. Yeah, he's full of crap. The original Wes Watson. Well, who was out before? Wes Watson or him? Mr. Pasa is definitely up in the casa for the raza. Do you think they'll ever change their mindset and behavior? No. I have been on YouTube for a very long time, and I know when something rattles someone and you don't seem rattled. No. When you never like front and don't have nothing in your closet, then you have nothing to ever sweat or worry about. You get what I'm saying? And it really is that easy, bro. It really is that easy. Like, all you really have to do is don't fucking be bullshitting. That's it. And it's not that hard. I don't understand why these individuals have a hard time doing that. The YouTube is just for grown ass irresponsible dudes. Yeah, it's starting to look like that. I mean, well, yeah, it seems like it's been like that. Huh? Yeah, some people Flix video about you were talking bad about you, calling you gay and stuff. Damn, that's fine. Not first, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be the last. But like stuff like that never, right? It never, And when people guys like, I don't understand why people will get offended. Like, well, it's just lie. Like the thing is it true? That's the part that you should be concerned about, not so much the lie. My love bug is definitely up in the building. Love you, baby. Uh, what do you? Yes, Watson. To pick up trucks. Nah, that's below. West doesn't get his hands dirty. Have you ever watched the video about West? Nah, I haven't. Why is that the best one or what? By the way, do you think about people who say it's not gay as long as you are the one giving and not receiving? No, because if you're getting aroused by another man, that in itself is gay. You know, you're because in order for that to happen, you would have to be turned on by the male. So you know, people can spin it however they choose. But uh, like I said, if that's what they like, then that's what they like, right? I don't understand why people have to lie about it though. The Dallas Cowgirls beating the. Oh, come on, my boy. The Raiders can't beat nobody, bro. Nobody. Not even a middle school team. As bad as the Cowgirls are, the Raiders are just a disaster. 1090 was Watson, Dubs, Gunner, Mr. Criminal. Then they're full of the liars and manipulators. Oh no, there's many more. There's many more. Oh, but you mean just in the Yada, right? Like in the just in the I guess taboo side of things. Fast food. Oh no, fast food. Yeah, you would never catch Wes Watson at a fast food restaurant. He would say that that wasn't him. It was his double. Nah, I don't believe any especially gay rumors because I know, or at least because you're married. Yeah, I have a wife, but obviously they're gonna say stuff like that just to like how can I say to try to irritate me, right? Or people are always gonna have something to say about somebody, right? That's not good. Not everyone's gonna like you, right? And coming onto the internet, people have to accept that. Not everyone's gonna agree with you, and not everybody's gonna like you, and that's perfectly fine. People are entitled to feel however they choose and say whatever they want. That's why if you ever go and watch videos, I never delete the comments that people say, even though they say some way out shit, talking shit about me and everything. I leave them on there though. Like, I'm not afraid of people reading that, and like if people choose to believe it, they choose to believe it. You know what I mean? But like I said, a lie can never rattle me though. Anything below. He said caviar. Oh, didn't he recently get into some kind of fucking fight or some shit like that? There are some people who don't consider it gay as long as you don't ever see. Nah, that's well, I mean, that's just for me. That's just somebody who's lying to themselves. That's like just telling themselves whatever they need to tell themselves just to make themselves feel better. But I mean, what you like? Yeah. For example, Diddy, who is clearly gay, but I think was bisexual. I think he was in the middle because clearly the women needed to be a part of the component for him, and the men. So clearly he was in the middle. He couldn't enjoy one without the other. He needed to have another male present and the female present. Strange. Did a full breakdown about the hypocrisy of response. I had seen several other, content creators make videos about, and people that don't even, how can I say, cover this kind of genre. That's how far his bullshit has reached. I'm still going for the Raiders. As you should, bro. Loyal to the soil. Hey, when my Broncos are durable, bro, hey, we still support my boy. We don't jump ships. I don't condone people being gay, though it's against my morals and principles. Oh. Like, I personally don't give a fuck, right? Um, it's just I don't care, right? Like, I personally think a relationship should be between a man and a woman because obviously it goes together, right? The parts fit, they can reproduce. Therefore, that's what I think, right? But if people want to choose to date anything else, then that's their battle, not mine. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what people do with themselves. Like, I'm not gonna be out there fucking hating on them and shit like that. Like I could be doing other stuff. This weird, jealous of Dubs and Gunner because they're making money. No, I think people dislike them because of their lies. I don't think it's so much because they're jealous that they're making money. Because if it was like, let's say, for example, people are hating on them because they're making money, wouldn't people be hating on every other big content creator? Like, let's say any other content creator who's a big channel, wouldn't people be hating on them because they're making a lot more money, right? I think what people have the problem with is the individual's lives and not so much them or how big their channels are. Because if that were to be the case, then people would just be hating on every big channel that's out there, including big channels that are in within the taboo genre. I think people just, like I said, they just, highlight them individuals because of how they behave. Which Watson said he don't care about 25. That's why you, because they chase the. He said they chase the rainbow. The game might be, but I don't consider him as you wouldn't consider him as manly. Well, no, he wouldn't be as manly because he's more feminine, you know. But I mean, biologically, I mean, when we're talking about men, they are men. But yeah, they probably wouldn't be into the stuff that like normal men are into, I guess. But then what we could consider what are normal men into because a lot of normal men are into a whole lot of different stuff. Because in reality, there's really no structure that's like all men must like beer and all men like sports and all men must like. I mean, a lot of people say that a woman's place is in the kitchen and that women's jobs is to be cooking, but there's more male chefs and cooks than there is female ones. You know, a lot of the cooking shows you see men on there, right? A lot of the head chefs are men. Most people think that men cooking that's kind of feminine. You know, I mean, chefs have mainly always been men. And that noise in the background is rain because it is definitely raining hard. Wes Watson definitely don't want to be seen using the EBT. Oh no, he doesn't get EBT. I don't think it's right. Like the relationship, like the LTBG, I just don't care. Like I just don't give it no thought. Like I'm never dwelling on what they want to do with themselves. I could care less. Like I just do me. You know what I mean? Like like how do you feel about these two guys getting married? I don't give a fuck. I'm not the one in bed with them. I could care less. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna think about them in. I don't think about them in. I leaving this interview, I will never think about them. So after this question, it's completely, out of my mind. So I don't care what they do with them. So that's their battle, not mine. If the North and South want to come together, let them. Because I like rainbows. As for me, I don't think that those two individuals actually, like each other or are gay. You know, I think that's just the comedy part of things, right? Like I said, I only highlight what we know as to be, true and facts, which is just the lies. You know, everything else is just comedy, though. What's cracking like an Jones, mom? That's right. I feel you. Damn, you still got classes? Shit. That's right. Gotta hit that education. I hate the rainbows because I'm into it. Yeah, I feel you. Those are just time can be feminine. Yeah, I just don't really give it so much thought about what like how people behave though, or like I don't dwell on it so much. Like, oh, you see how that fool's acting? Like, I don't care about that person though, so I no, I don't. So I don't give a fuck how he's acting. You know, I just don't give that much attention to strangers. Because a lot of people get obsesses with shit like that. Like they dwell on it way too much. I mean, there's people out there that literally protest with signs and everything about this kind of shit, and it's like, bro, that topic is not gonna get that much of my time. It's not gonna get none of my time. You get what I'm saying? Out of all the shit I could be doing, I'm gonna be out there protesting this kind of shit. Remember when the Dodgers let the drag queens? Yeah, and people were outraged, and it's like, why do people even care though? Like, why do people care? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? They're acting like if they called them a drag queen or some shit like that, like let them invite whoever the fuck. What does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, how is them like? How is that like affecting you in any type of way? Like, are you losing sleep? Are you gonna lose hours from your job? Are you gonna like not have dinner that night because of that? Like how is it gonna affect you in any way? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about them going to the stadium? I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna be there. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Have you ever had agents who try to convince or enforce their? Yeah, I actually have a lot. I actually have a lot of people told me that because I'm not religious, I'm gonna go to hell, and that I'm a bad person, and that that um, hopefully like bad stuff happens to me and shit like that. I'm just like, keep in mind this is by older people already. And I'm just like, okay, like older Christian ladies, like vas a la iglesia, like no, ¿por qué no? No creo en eso. Oh, te vas a ir al infierno. Está bien. Ahí la miro, ahí la espero. What kind of shit is that? They flirt way too much. Do they? Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't scope out their content. I just don't know it to be facts though. Like if I knew this to be facts, like if there was evidence, then I would be like, all right, yeah, they're gay. What about men who think they are women and vice versa? Like, what do you mean? Like, well, I don't care about them either. I don't give them no thought. Obviously, they're confused. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't think about that, but sometimes when you say you don't care about what to do, they say it's because you're superior to values. Nah, I think people just say those kind of things to kind of pressure you to get to view it from their sense. Kind of like if you don't line up your ideology with their ideology, then that must mean that it's because you're gay yourself. You know what I mean? they're refusing to believe that there's actually a ground that exists where people just don't give a fuck, because then that kind of makes them look like childish and foolish, like, oh shit, like, like, why do you care so much? Who gives a fuck, bro? You're giving that shit way too much of your time. Like, it's kind of sus in itself, right? So in order to avoid all of that, they refer by saying those kind of things, like, oh, then you must be, you know what I mean? Because they want people to view it like from their point of view. And since most people care about what other people think about them, right? They're quick to jump on board, like, yeah, you're right, fuck them, you know. But if you actually can think for yourself and don't be a sheep and don't worry about what people think about you, then you can just be like, well, I don't give a fuck. Like who's the one? Like who? Like what? Like who's the one that actually cares about this subject or might be secretly gay? The person who just doesn't care and is not even talking about it, or the person who constantly is talking about it and just spends so much time, on this subject and keeps, staying locked in that subject. And it's like, for somebody who doesn't care about these people, you sure spend a lot of time dwelling on them. You know what I mean? Because if you really didn't care, you wouldn't give them no time of day. You get what I mean? Think about the kids. Um, Here's the thing. You know how they started saying, ever since the whole LTBG community started getting accepted, more people started becoming gay. That's not what it was. Gay people have always existed. Now they feel more comfortable coming out and saying that they're gay. So it's not like the gay population the numbers, started rising. They have always been there. It's just that now people are comfortable coming out. You have individuals who have been married to women, have had families, and who turned out to be gay. They finally came out and was like, you know what, I'm tired of the act, and there it is. You get what I mean? So it's like those people have always existed. They were just in the closet. You know what I mean? Now they're just out in the open. And so kids in themselves don't see sexuality. Kids are not thinking about sexual matters, are not dwelling on those kind of topics and conversations. You get what I mean? So, like, if you're not gay, you just can't be turned gay. You get what I mean? You know, that's not something that you can be tricked into becoming gay. You get what I mean? If you're aroused by men, then you're aroused by men. You know what I mean? That's something that you can't trick somebody to, like, you can't force somebody to find another person attractive. Like, oh, you better sleep with this person and not out, I'll kill you. Like, you know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, it's like people use the fear tactic where it's like, well, if people now, how can I say, allow or accept these people, what if it might turn your kid gay? You get what I mean? And it's like, wouldn't that mean that your kid was gay then? You get you get what I'm saying? It's like, if you're worrying about gay people around you, if you're not comfortable with that, then why? Because what? You might find them attractive because something might happen. Yeah. So you're not confident in where you stand in your preference in who you sleep with. Because if not, you wouldn't worry about these individuals. What are you gonna worry about? You know what I'm saying? It's just that easy. Like, as long as can, like, no se pasen de verga, like, as long as they don't disrespect, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And like I said, if they do disrespect and then it escalates, it's not because they're gay. It's because it's, hey, you disrespected and this is where it's gonna go. You get what I mean? Just show respect. I don't give a fuck about what you do in your personal life or what you want to do in your spare time. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, ir a esos dos jotos? Like, why are you looking at that for then? You know what I mean? Why are you telling me I don't want to look over there? I don't give a fuck. Just mamadas. What more people say? Yeah, but I don't know. They think that they're perfect though. I believe in God, but honest, I don't follow words of the Bible. A lot of people believe in God though. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just that not everyone's gonna have belief. Like I said, there's multiple different gods, right? There's all kinds of religions that believe in different gods. You know what I mean? You're talking like if grooming doesn't exist. What do you mean? Like if you mean like gay people will start grooming your kid though? I mean, if you allow yourself to get turned out, then and you don't put up a fight for it, then I guess that's. But like I said though, it's to each individual. Like if as long as it's not happening to you, that doesn't matter though. You know what I mean? Like I have always said, I think that none of this sexual talk needs to be taught to children, like in school, like in elementaries, like let's say, right? Because kids are not even thinking about that kind of shit. So why even teach it to them? You feel me? Um, that shit doesn't belong in any type of child conversations. You get me? Leave it out of movies, leave it out of schools because kids shouldn't be fucking talking about that or even learning about that kind of shit. You feel me? And that's not because like you're hating on them or whatever right. It's just that kids they shouldn't even fucking do that kind of shit. Yeah, if you want to teach it in high school, but yeah, well that's your battle. That's when already kids already start seeing what's happening. Like if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. Like I said, I just don't care about what people want to do with themselves. Like I'm not gonna be right there giving them so much of my time and on shit like that. It doesn't good, it might end up like Savage Studio. Yeah. Que les vaya bien a los güeyes. You know, playing the game, it gets awfully dangerous. You know, that's what. Uh, that's what the video was directed towards you. Video. What video? Well, you tell some people who get turned game. As they say, seems like that. It seems like they always wanted to go down that route. You know, it seems that they have always. This is something that they have always dwelled on. Because, like I said, if you allow yourself, then this is something that you have already, you know, thought about it and were thinking about it, and. Because, like I said, if you just don't find men attractive and you don't get turned on, like, you know, and to say like, oh, it's because I was in here and that's how I got turned on. No, 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 no. You have always danced around the subject. You get what I mean? There were always sexual deviants. Once the women got removed from the conversation, there was nothing but men. The sexual deviant behavior, took over. And but like I said, sexual deviants don't care. They'll do it with men, women. You know what I mean? That's just it's actually predator nature. The one that was directed to high powered fitness. What? I don't know what's going on, my boy. Whose video to high power fitness or what's going on? I'm not following. Some people make excuses that behavior by saying there's no women in prison. And that's definitely no excuse. That's what I mean. Sexual deviant like behavior, like predator behavior. Those individuals were always predators. They just gave into their fantasy. Because there's individuals that have done life sentences that don't get turned out and or don't become, you know, or sleep with men and shit like that, right? Some do and some don't. What's the difference? Right? That maybe these individuals have always, you know, had that in them. You get what I'm saying? It's really that easy. Man, like I said, the other excuses are just there just to make themselves feel better, you know, like, oh, it's because there's no women. Oh, okay, so that makes it okay. That excuses it, right? Like I said, it just makes their shit, you know, acceptable, right? It's just looking for the excuse. But in reality, that's all it is. Merely just excuses, bro. Say what you want. You know? Like there's all kinds of other individuals doing life. You don't want to bone another guy. Come on now. Like I said, they're all excuses, bro. So this is shit that they always had in them. Yeah, they always had those tendencies all along, bro. All along. This is how they. Now they're just accepting it. They're accepting how they always wanted to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. It was good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.